Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Picks and Sticks podcast, a fun music podcast where four great friends talk about the music, bands, and songs that they love. I'm Moro.
I'm Gordo.
I'm Cecil.
And I'm Huff.
And this is Picks and Sticks.
Welcome, everyone, to Picks and Sticks. Great to have you with us. I have a confession, I guess, that I need to make. I don't know if I stand at the front of the room and I say, hi, my name is Huff, and I'm a vinylholic. I will admit, today I was out doing some errands and stuff, and I really wanted to go down to Recordland or go to one of the major outlets, but I didn't do that. But I couldn't help myself. I did have to peel into London Drugs. And I do feel as though, Moro, that I may have made a mistake. Now, we recently did an episode on Alice in Chains Facelift. They had a copy of the remastered Alice in Chains Facelift that came with the digital download.
Yeah.
And was it $35 or $40? And I had it in my hand. And then because of my vinyl addiction, I put it down. Question, did I make a mistake?
Yes, you made a terrible mistake.
Horrible.
Really? Cecil, same? I made a mistake? Fuck.
Yep.
You made a horrible mistake. I can't even believe you did that.
Yeah, that's so egregious.
You're stupid.
You're stupid.
All right, well, there we go.
I've done that too, though. I've had some good albums in my hands and then just walked out.
Yeah. There's and we're going to talk about some of those today. The topic today is kind of vinyl collections and our quest for those albums that we really feel that we need. Also, we're going to give some love to those albums that we do have in our collection. Now, Cease, those need to be full albums, not half albums or empty sleeves. Every time. You know what? I want to get a picture of that and put that on Instagram because that is absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Not that it's their best album, but anyway, anytime you reach into the
Which
vinyl
one is that?
sleeve, that's El Loco's Easy Top.
Broken in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was excited to find it in the collection and pulled it out. And it came out and
Comes out in pieces.
just
Well,
half
I'm finding this challenging because I have probably 600 to 800 CDs.
Yeah, we're talking.
So I bought all these CDs over the years, and now because I lost most of my vinyl,
Cheers.
I'm like starting over. So now I'm buying some, and my list is endless of the stuff I want. And you know what the amazing part of it is owning a record is like the best thing.
I
It's
agree.
like the best way to have music.
I agree.
Like you get the artwork, you
What
get
is it?
The cover art. Fuck.
So good
Yeah.
about records because I feel it too,
Yeah.
but it's hard to describe.
I'm scared I'm gonna end up like you guys. That's why I quit a few months ago.
I had bad motor finger in my hands the other day, and I walked out too. So I feel bad about the Alice in Chains.
Yeah, that's a tough one too. And it's funny because I would say that everyone's kind of got a philosophy, and I think we've all had CD collections. I was the same as you, More. I remember going down to whatever that record place, that record store was, any of the record stores. Even I walk into HMV and we would spend hours in there just leafing through stuff. And again, before the days of the internet, and you would just find an album cover that spoke to you and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to buy this. I'm going to roll the dice. And you're probably, 50-50, maybe 60-40 on stuff that you find that was good. And then the rest of it you'd listen to once or twice, and then it would end up in the trade-in pile and you'd head to Tramps and get rid of it. But in
Well, there was
terms
no
of,
way to
like,
listen to
albums, I
anything.
mean, well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. I got a great cassette collection too, and that's a tough thing. But I got rid of a lot of my vinyl. I was old enough. I am old enough that it was right in that. I remember, sort of the different formats going through, right? But I did have a vinyl collection. I got rid of a lot of it, with the exception of the stuff. I'm not sure how I decided what to keep, but I was lucky enough that I've got, Back in Black and what else is in there? Joshua Tree, Power Slave and Peace of Mind, a bunch of that stuff. But you need to sort of flesh out that collection. Mauro, I know that you're kind of in the same boat. Gordo, if I were to guess, I would say you kind of started yours a bit from scratch, or did you have some left over from a former life?
I had a handful from a former life. Strangely, I had the Metallica collection up into and including Injustice for All on vinyl, including this baby right here. This is a European Metallica.
Is that the Creeping Death
issue? It's the Creeping Death.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
It's got Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg on the side too. It's unbelievable.
Nice.
What was that store down on 8th Avenue?
Is that like an
boys,
EP
that record
then, right?
store?
The Attic.
The
can't
Attic.
remember the
That's
name
where I
of
got
it.
it. The Attic always used to
The
have
Attic.
these cool European issues, but they'd import them, and they'd have a few laid about. So I walked in one day, saw that, had to grab it. I'm like you though. I want to do my list is probably like 200 off the top of my head. So I know once I go down this rabbit hole, it's going to be hard not to stop till I'm satisfied. So I've just pumped the brakes on the LP purchasing for a while. We're gonna reevaluate it here soon.
All right. Well, I'm going to kick you off the wagon. And now the one that I'm most interested in, no disrespect to everyone else, but Cecil, I think, and I'm dying to get a look at what you got. But it sounds like you've got a pretty extensive collection. So where did those albums come from? And if you had to guess, how many do you think you have?
Oh,
He stole them.
how many would I have? Gotta have at least 100. Maybe more. I should have counted. I have no idea because I separate. At least I separated the good from the bad. Now I've got like the
Okay.
Oh, there's some funny ones that just you need to, they're local or something. Or anyways, I should have brought some out. They a lot of like 80s glam, but no, I haven't got any new ones. Haven't got any new records until the last year. It's the last year since we've been collecting again. The last time I bought a record would have been like, I don't think in the past 1990, maybe early 90s.
Right. Yeah.
But they're also, a lot of them my sisters, some from my parents, my uncle, and then the few that I bought. So it's just a collection of all of them, but I've just always hung on to them. One of the proudest ones I have is Van Halen 1984, because we got it in 1984.
Oh, that's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
carry
not
that
a
one around.
reprint, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I'll say that
But then
my
found Van Halen at the other day, $15. There's some great shit.
yeah. So that
Where-
reminds me, I'm still waiting for the invite, but talk a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
we gotta go.
That fucking gem of a store you found.
It's unreal. Where on earth did you get that? It's antique and collectibles. They're open like 9 to 6 daily. They've got antique hours too. But it's they set up like an IKEA, so you got little sections, and the same stuff in these different sections. So you'll see used guitars here, there, everywhere, and you have to go everywhere to see everything. Just one thing you're looking for. But with the records, I saw the first collection. I thought, it's small, nothing I want. Keep walking. There's another collection, bigger. Found a few good ones. Then there's a bunch. And then there's about 5 different record sections. And then just when I thought I had seen enough, they had like the good record section, the the ones that they value more. So tons of Iron Maiden.
Was it all behind the counter? Was it like the Playboys? You had to ask the guy to look at them?
No. It was just a little more featured. But yeah, great place in Airdrie. So where on earth did you get that?
Wow.
I'm dying to
Why
go
aren't
there.
you plugging them?
Well,
They're not that good of friends. Although maybe you'll get a deal if you do.
it's good pink fender.
He's trying to hide it
yeah.
from other people. He's being selfish.
There's a pink fender and a pink amp. It'd look good on you, Morrow.
Ooh.
I thought I'd get
Jeez.
it. I thought that'd be
That's
some
outstanding.
flair. That'd be flash.
Yeah. That's not
Full-
not bad.
Full
Little
pink setup. Get some pink
leather
pants. That could be my
Tuscadero.
thing.
yeah.
Play
Yeah,
some
that'd be
Olivia
okay.
Newton. Play some Olivia Newton-John.
You guys
Yeah.
should fuck off.
You were absolutely crushing that earlier. So
story.
She's so beautiful.
right. So before we get into that, so you guys know that I was on a massive quest to find a copy of Neil Young Harvest, which is not.
Unhealthy
No-
quest.
You know what? Why don't you fucking stay in your lane?
Yes, sir.
It's not necessarily his best album. I mean, there's a bunch of different. For whatever reason, I've always loved that album, and sort of when we talk about like my philosophy, I guess when it comes to my vinyl collection is I would rather have the original pressing, if you will. Apparently, I found out after the fact. Apparently, there are like 180 gram vinyl copies of that album. I've never seen one, mind you, but apparently they're out there. It's a thing. But I still want to have. I feel like I need to have the original. So all this stuff that I've been chasing down, I really want to find
what's
that
the
stuff
level?
before
What's
I get
the
it.
what's the levels of weight? Like what's a regular?
I'm
explain
not
that,
sure what the
180
old one.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is
the
180
new, like,
gram the thick ones? It seems
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
thick
got a
one, so-
South Saturn Delta Jimi Hendrix. That one I pulled Jimmy's out and it was so thick.
and that's why, right? So when you buy the new artists, right? Like I bought a copy of Nevermind, right? So it's the 180 gram.
Oh, nice.
And the old school stuff, like the stuff that you've got from your parents or stuff that you bought originally in 1984 and stuff. It's the thinner vinyl, and that's the stuff that I like. Now, we don't want to get into a conversation around sound quality and remastering and all that shit. But generally, I try and find, those older copies. It took me a long time to find Harvest, and I finally found it. So I will say I'm extremely happy that I have that. The other one that I found, and I couldn't believe it, I sent out a text a while ago, but I found a copy of Roger Waters' Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. So we touched briefly on that album towards the end of the Pink Floyd episode. We were talking about some of the solo albums, and that was one of them, and that's the one that Eric Clapton plays guitar on. And it's a great, it's a solo album. Like it is apparently, I believe it was that album and The Wall, I think, that Roger had kind of written and presented to Pink Floyd and said, we'll do one as a Floyd, I'm going to do the other one as a solo album. And then I believe that is the album. So anyway, those are if I had to pick two, those are the two that I'm happiest about that I have right now.
Be careful with the Neil Young, because Gordo might come and steal it, because that's his favorite artist.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
I didn't know you hated Neil Young so much.
It's Harvest amazing. Yeah, I had
It's a
listen to
pretty
bit of it
decent
today.
record.
I think you're just fucking patronizing. I think
No, it's not a bad record. I never loved him, but I've told you before. It's with me. It's political. I can't separate the art from the artist, and he's just made some decisions that have pissed me off. So I choose to exercise that by dissing him. Now his voice
it's
on
terrible.
that album, it's a terrible voice, but I don't know what it is about that album.
It
seems
works.
to suit it. It just, for whatever reason, it works. So I can't diss that album.
And I what I love about him too, though, is I mean, he's got his sort of his solo stuff that he does that just goes under the Neil Young, banner, and then he's got the Neil Young and Crazy Horse, and the Crazy Horse stuff is the more it's electric guitars and more rocking if you want to call it that. And I love them all equally. I think I've got 4 Neil Young records right now, and there's 3 more I need to get. I figure, and then I'll be happy. I need Tonight's the Night. I need On the Beach. I need Zuma. But his live stuff with Crazy Horse is so good. And I need Ragged Glory too. I forgot about Ragged Glory. Anyway, that's a collection I need to flesh out a little bit.
I told you it's unhealthy.
I don't know. What's
an unhealthy fetish.
What's your crown jewel, Morrow?
Right now?
Yeah, what's the one that you're happiest about in your collection, or 2 or whatever?
I don't know. I wouldn't. The one I've been listening to a lot, which is weird because it is Beastie Boys. Check Your Head. Okay. And that's a remaster. And I told myself I was going to go all original if I could find it.
Yep.
But
That'd be impossible to find original, wouldn't it?
I would think so. That was a time when it was cassette tape and CD, so I don't even know how much vinyl was coming out at that point. But Beastie Boys is awesome. It's like that album is just, and we've done the Beastie Boys podcast, but that album is just so eclectic. Like, it has so much different styles of music in it. It's got the hip hop, it's got the punk rock, it's got the jazzy instrumental, it's got some humor. It's a great album to just sit and listen to. So that's my favorite right now, but it would close behind would be Hendrix, Axis, Bold as Love, and Led Zeppelin 1.
Now those the Jimmy and the Zeppelin, are those original pressings, or are those the new 180s?
No, I got sucked in again because the new Jimmy is it's remastered by Eddie Kramer, who is the original engineer, right? So I thought, I'd love to. He was in the room when they were recording, so I thought it'd be great for him to update the sound, and it's so fucking good. And then the Led Zeppelin is remastered by Jimmy Page. So, and he was the producer and co-engineer on the original Led Zeppelin stuff, so I couldn't resist it. So
you're saying Page is not Iommi? He didn't completely Tin Man that record?
No. I'd say the worst for that is Lars. Lars shouldn't be allowed in a control room anywhere.
No. Yeah, I think that's well documented.
But Page is brilliant. Him and Kramer did all the original Led Zeppelin stuff, and it's so good. These days they're using tools that those guys were recording those songs on 8 tracks, and the music's unbelievable. And now you got like unlimited, like hundreds of tracks, and you can do a million takes.
Yep. And
they were taking mistakes and putting reverb and delay on them so that they sounded cool and it was part of the song. So anyway, I got sidetracked, but Beastie Boys I'd say is my jewel right now.
Yeah. Cease. Sorry. Go ahead,
Morrow.
No,
go ahead.
Cut you. Cease, what outside of the El Loco that's split in 2,
I don't have any rap.
I imagine you've got some. You don't. That surprises me.
I only have an album called Breakdance, and one of the songs is the Herbie Hancock Rocket.
Herbie Hancock, yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
And with it, I should have brought that one out, is a poster in mint condition that on one gives you breakdance instructions, and one move is the moonwalk, and the other is the wave.
Yeah.
So step-by-step instructions. Yeah.
Nice. You should pull it out.
I should have got that. Maybe I'll go get it. My old ones, like from way back in the day, I had Tracy's were Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, and Van Halen 1984. Those are the ones I played the most. Those were my
Not bad.
by far my favorite. We got some Zeppelin, but it's weird because we got all the bad ones like Physical Graffiti, Coda, Presence. Yeah, Presence.
In through the outdoor. You're like, what the fuck? Where's Zeppelin 2?
Yeah, I know. The Heartbreaker.
No.
So sorry, go ahead. No,
I was just saying. I was just laughing at that.
Oh man, the Heartbreakers. I had Zeppelin 4, and I have Electric Ladyland, and was expecting to find them. Zeppelin 4 had the sleeve, the cover, no album to be found.
God, that's devastating.
And Electric Ladyland, one of the albums went missing. I only have half now. So those two are kind of heartbreaking, along with
That's
the
a double.
El Loco.
That's a double album.
Yeah.
So you've got like side 1 and 2, and side 3, 4 are missing.
Something like that. Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, it's
This
I don't
is
know
this
I don't
is
know
a
what's
theme
worse.
for you.
What's that?
I said it's a theme for you. Missing half.
that's right.
Missing half of everything.
I don't know what's worse. Reaching in there and like you're like, oh, I want to play this album so bad, and finding no record in there, or the record's in 2 pieces. I don't know. I don't know what's worse,
Oh, here's a true
but
story.
that's
So
brutal.
there's a song on Physical Graffiti. So when I taped half my albums, right? I put the recorder
I did
right
that
by the
too.
album, and a song on Physical Graffiti skips, and it skipped the whole side. So
Oh no.
On tape?
So it still sounds weird to me because every time I'd get to that part, I wouldn't be sitting right by the stereo, so at least I'd hear an extended version of that part.
Yeah.
And every time I can't get used to the song playing right through. It doesn't sound right to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Gordo, outside of Creeping Death, which is pure genius,
It is.
have you got? So is most of your collection then newer?
Yeah, it's a mix of new and old, but it's mostly newer. I'd say.
Do you have any Portishead?
I don't, but I want it on vinyl. It'd be unbelievable.
You're not going to find that.
I think my favorite album
Maybe
I
at
got
the
right now
dump.
is Bad Motorfinger on vinyl. I never had it on vinyl. I always had it on cassette or CD. So this is brand new to me. I got it for Christmas, and it's unreal. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that would be a good. I would love to have that and
Debut albums
Super
are
Unknown.
always the best.
I agree. I agree. If there's any, so it's well documented. Again, my quest for Harvest. So I need a new quest. If you guys had a quest, if there's an album or two that you absolutely need to get, what would they be?
I gotta find From the Cradle, Eric Clapton, his blues covers.
Really
Yeah,
interesting pick. Okay.
I gotta find that, that album from first, the whole thing is unbelievable. And what I've been doing is I've been searching for stuff that I've listened to over the years where you can listen to the whole album, and that's one that you can play that thing 3 times over. It's so good.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at too. The stuff that I'm buying, and again, you're kind of forced, right? It's the old school. You have to buy albums that you can listen to straight through, because skipping a song's a pain in the ass. So you just got to let it ride. You can't buy an album because you like 1 or 2 songs. And I think that's why, maybe a lot of the older stuff, stands up that way, right? It's great to have Dirty Deeds because you can let that ride. You can get, whatever it is, and you can let it play. I don't imagine there's too many newer albums that you can.
Not to go on a tangent, but you just raised a point, and I wonder. I've found myself enjoying music so much more in the last while, and it has been because I've been listening to albums from start to finish.
Yeah.
And rather than this mixed playlist kind of thing that you always get, when you're listening to music or when you could go to parties or when you go out. But like, how do you guys, have you found that you're finding it the same, like more enjoyable to listen to music that way?
Yeah, I met a guy years ago, a work colleague, who he was from England, played in bands, loved music, had 5 kids, and they were all into music. He's just this real passionate guy, and he said, one rule in my house: nobody stops a song that's already started. There's no skipping songs. If a song
That's
starts,
a great rule.
it has to finish. And so albums are good because they force you to do that. And like Morrow said, you really go through the whole side because you don't want to start halfway through an album
Yeah.
trying to drop the needle right in the perfect spot. Pain in the ass.
I don't know what it is too. It's hard for me to explain, but it's when you listen to the whole album, you really hear the kind of the contrast to the other songs. Like I don't know what it is, but it's like, the first couple songs warm you up, and then you hear this third one, and you hear it differently because you've heard the artist do the previous 2, or as opposed to if you just heard it on the radio. I don't know what it is, but
Well, there is
something to be said for that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's no different than when you go and see a concert and they put a set list together. The set list, it comes together on purpose. There is a reason for the order of the songs. And an album, whether it's a Taylor Swift album or it's a fucking Blue Oyster Cult album, they're put in that order for a particular reason. When you listen to it front to back, you get a better sense for it rather than, if you just listen to one or two. And I wanted to touch on that. If somebody could ever perfect in any format the shuffle, maybe it would be a little bit different. And that's why I love listening, like Morrow said, or I guess like everyone said, like listening to albums. It started, remember it was the 5-disc changer, right? You had 5 CDs and you put it in there and you could put like 5 discs in there and it would play like 4 in a row from the same CD. Or if you left the same 5 CDs in there and you had, say, 5 different days that you just hit play and shuffle, and they'd play the same goddamn songs.
Same songs every fucking time.
And the iPod does that too. Every shuffle that's ever been created is horrible because you could have 1,000 songs in your playlist, and it'll play the same 200 every freaking time.
You're right about the iPod. It did do that. And then
right?
Once in a while it would change, but then it wouldn't change again forever.
It was like there was an algorithm to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
The only time it was anyway.
When you listen to an album, you can look at the year it was done. You can kind of figure out what was going on in the world a little bit, and you get the vibe of what the band was sort of, if it's a good band, like what kind of mood they were in, because each album has a different usual feel to it. And it really truly is, for me, way better way to listen to music. And you just don't get that when you get top hits and you shuffle them. And that's great too for the right venue. But when you're listening to music and you're sitting back, there's no better thing than putting the record on and listening to the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Totally. So Morrow said Clapton is his next quest. Do Gord cease? Have you got one sort of top of mind that I know Gord is. Oh, yeah. We're gonna kick you off the bandwagon, so I'm dragging you to the record store. But is there something on the list there?
There is. I think I'm gonna. It's hard to approach this, right? I was like, do I get the newer stuff that I like? Do I fill in my like '90s catalog? Do I go old? I think I'm gonna go old. So I'm looking at getting the Hendrix catalog, the 3 albums anyway.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say Raffi.
Raffi? No, that would be weird.
No, that would be weird.
I want to start with, I think, Hendrix. Doesn't have to be collectible. I don't need it, but if I can find them, the originals, I mean, that would be fantastic. Then I'll probably move into the new school from there. But I enjoyed the Hendrix podcast a lot. And I knew when listening to them, like, I got to get these on vinyl. I really like listening to those in the order he had them.
Yeah.
I got a question just about Hendrix. I found that Axis was my least favorite of the three studio albums, and now it's my favorite.
Really?
After we did the podcast, yeah, I would. Are You Experienced would have been one, and then Electric Ladyland, and then Axis, and I've actually swapped Axis to first.
Wow.
I saw C shaking his head. I thought he was going to reach through the screen.
Oh yeah,
You're the Jimmy
same
guy.
order. That's the order. I think I agree. Axis, Ladyland, Are You Experienced?
Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah.
it should have been the opposite order before we did Jimmy. Anyway, for me,
Yeah. I wouldn't have had an opinion. I didn't know enough about him before we started that, but
I'm also, I know I'm contradicting what I just said. I want to get a couple Beck albums on vinyl. I have Beck Odelay, you know, the one with the sheepdog. It's an amazing album. I forgot
dude, that
how
is such
good
a
that
classic.
is. Oh God, it's really good. I'm gonna go with Mellow Gold, and then we'll see what happens after that. But I forgot how much I like Beck, and then he joined the Scientologists. I had to hate him for a while. Now maybe I'm kind of over it, and I can.
you can
listen to the
forgive
shit
him,
again.
but you're still pissed at Neil Young. The guy's like 80 years old. He's like somebody's grandpa,
That
and
old
you're just
bastard.
harboring resentment. No.
He's an old
Fucking
man bitching about politics.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get off
All
my
right.
lawn.
That's fine.
I want to hear
Yes.
Cecil's.
Yeah.
Oh, I had albums popped in my head easy. Obscured by Clouds or Dark Side.
Yeah.
But
Both amazing.
the biggest gift this podcast has given me is Pink Floyd. They
Yes.
I love them so much. They're one of my favorite bands. And they're incredible. I was listening today, and I get misty today from Pink Floyd. They're a bit of
When you
I think
really
it doesn't take you much lately. You're getting a little
No.
mistier.
I don't like to keep it bottled up, man.
I was listening to Dark Side. I ran down a copy of Dark Side. And I was listening to Time, and I felt instant regret because for whatever reason, I never had that song in my top 20 when we did that episode. And I think it was just because I had heard the song so much, but I was down here in my office alone. I was listening to it, and that song came on, and I kind of stopped and just kind of sang along with it. And I was like, wow, like that song, like when you talk about just, getting you, like lyrically, that song is so great. The whole composition of the song is unbelievable. Buck, I am so happy that you love Pink Floyd because I have loved that band for so long.
So good.
Not
And
to belabor my point, but
Yep.
again, those albums, listening to them front to back is amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, and a lot of them, Pink Floyd's funny because a lot of them are concept albums, right?
Yeah.
Even Wish You Were Here is a concept album, but yeah, I'm happy that I've got all the Pink Floyd albums now. The only one I had from my old collection was Wish You Were Here. And I've filled out my collection with everything that I want. I don't have the real early stuff that I didn't love.
How many albums do you have now?
How many do I have? I have about 60, which isn't that many.
Yeah, I think I got about 25 or 30 maybe.
I've discovered some albums and some artists that I normally wouldn't listen to. And part of it is from, I told you about that documentary that Hired Guns that was on Netflix, which is really cool. And there was a guy there that was in Billy Joel's band. And he was, Billy Joel has, some iconic albums, and 52nd Street is one of them. And they tell this really cool story. And I just happened to be at Recordland, and I looked at it, and I knew a couple of the hits off there, and I like them. I'm like, screw it. The price was right. I'm going to buy it. And I absolutely love that album. And then I ended up buying another one, the album that came after that one, called The Stranger or Strangers. I can't remember which one it is. and that's a wicked album too. I bought it from that guy who was selling the vinyl out of his garage. He sold it to me for like $8, and it's a wicked album. And then I kind of did the same thing with Fleetwood Mac with Rumors, and then so anyway, this has opened my eyes, I guess, to some other bands that I normally wouldn't listen to. So I find even with only 60 albums, when I want to listen to something, I have a hard time choosing. like there's so many albums. Like I'm like I can listen to, and that's why I've been somewhat selective with what I've picked. There's only one album in there that I bought. So I got the 2 David Gilmour solo albums as well, the self-titled one and About Face. And I used to love About Face, and I've listened to it twice. And that one, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that one. So if anyone wants a copy of About Face, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to trade it in.
Trade
Good
in.
call. Trade it in, but it's a good thing about records.
Right?
You can take a 50% hit, but hey, you can always get another one.
I traded in my Blondie record.
You had a Blondie record?
Why would you trade it?
I don't know. Because it was terrible.
That's a dick move.
Total dude. Why?
And I think I checked with you guys. I have 2 copies of Metal.
I feel like you got. I feel like you got to add some.
Oh yeah, that's
some
one I
metal,
bought.
some metal to your collection there. It's sounding a little mellow to me.
Mine
as
is
soon as you
mellow.
hit the Fleetwood Mac Rumors, like what do you?
Oh,
I
dude.
have 2 of those.
You know
actually.
what?
It's a good album, but it's
I have 2 copies of that. Rumors.
Do you really?
Yeah, I had 2 copies of Master of Puppets, but that's another record that went missing. So I still have one, so I'm not.
Throw a
too
little
upset.
Snoop Dogg in there.
Well, it's funny you
Yeah.
say that. So outside of the Neil Young that I need to find, I was kind of thinking, I've got a couple of newer bands. Like I've got a Pennywise album that is one of my favorites. There's another couple that I need to get. I've got some newer stuff, but I need to find. Well, Tom Petty Wildflowers, which I think is in that weird, like you said, everything was cassettes and CDs. I don't even know if they were releasing stuff on vinyl. That album's very difficult to find. If you can find it, it's the newer, thicker 180 gram, but I would still take it. But anything I've seen, it's like $50, $60. I need a copy of Pearl Jam 10. I'm looking for Tragically Hip Road Apples. I'd like to get some Audio Slave. And then I was thinking, I think I need Dr. Dre, both Chronic and Chronic 2000. I think I need those 2 Dr. Dre albums too.
I saw those the other day. I
call.
can't remember where.
It's a good call.
Where'd you
Can't
see them?
argue
Laurel?
those at all.
I think it was at Sunrise Records.
Where on earth did you get that? Had it when I was last there, for sure.
And you know what? I would almost even, now that I think of it, go,
I'll pop in.
like I'm thinking like Bad Religion, like Stranger Than Fiction or something. Like that was an album that we listened to a shitload of, right? Like I'm thinking, like I love the earlier stuff, like Recipe for Hate and Suffer and stuff like that, Against the Grain. But that Stranger Than Fiction and even Grey
Good
Race,
memories,
even
man.
though Grey Race is, that 90s kind of pop punk, it's not really true Bad Religion. There's just so many great memories with it. I feel like I need to buy that. If I could get the Smalls on vinyl, I'd buy some Smalls too.
I say, the Smalls are amazing. I'm surprised, they never went further than they did. But
Well, Corblund did. He did pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, that's
Which
true.
is weird.
That's true.
It's weird that he was in that band, but that was a hell of a band.
I had the Dead Kennedys, Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death on tape, and I love that one. That's what I did. Because I'd like to have a couple punk sounds good on vinyl, scratchy.
Yeah.
Like the Stooges, Raw Power, Iggy and the Stooges. That'd be another one.
Did you ever see the Smalls video?
Which one?
I haven't
I
seen
forget
it.
what song it was. It was like the most ghetto video I've ever. Some of them are like gritty and hard. No, theirs was just like the shittiest production.
Hey, was that
It's like they recorded
Payload
them.
or something?
something like that. They recorded them like in a gym, but not like Nirvana style, just because they couldn't afford anywhere else. Like it's so awful.
Really?
It's so bad. Check it out later. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
Their cover of what is that song? Is it called Middle of the Road? The Pretenders song?
Or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of rings a bell.
So good, so good.
That's another good band that I don't know
So
much
I don't
about.
know. So what's the name of that record store you went to, Cecil? Let's see if we can
Which
get some
one?
free sponsorships out of throwing some love. The one in Airdrie that you said was so good, or the antique store, sorry.
I forget.
That's all right. What's your go-to store now, Huffman?
You'll
gotta buy
have
new,
to
do you have one,
rewind.
or-
Yeah. The butter's kicking in.
I don't forget. We've said it like 5 times.
You said it
I was
like
plugging
5
it
times
earlier.
off top of the show. So if you're at this point of the episode and you can't remember, you're going to have to go back to about whatever it was, about the 5-minute mark or whatever.
Oh, I can remember. I was surprised Gordon
yeah,
could
it'll-
remember. Where on
I
earth-
can't
where
believe
on
I
earth
can't
did you get
remember.
that? Where on earth did you get that?
Right. Where on earth did you get that? Why
I
on
have
earth
it-
can't I remember the name of that?
I have a solution to this problem. I think we need to open a Picks and Sticks record store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I think we have to do it. I think we have to do it. Then we can get all the vinyl we want.
Well, that'll be the problem. I think that's like, the don't get high off your own supply. Like I think that's the problem is you end up with a record store and I would just freaking buy all the stuff that we bring in. Like I'm not. We
can't do
Recordland
business
at-
with Huffman.
No, I'm going to be skimming off the top. I get like inventory's going to go missing. I won't be hard to figure out though, because I have the shelf on the back there that were the album that I'm playing at the time. I put it up there so I know where it's at. Otherwise I came close to stepping on some, but
Every
anyway.
new album would be a demo copy.
Yeah. Well, that's just it.
What album you got there now, buddy? Is that you too? What is that?
Yeah, that's Joshua Tree. That was
awesome.
I bought that one in 87, I guess that would have been. Is that when it came
solid
out?
album. Yeah.
87,
That's a
88.
good album.
Although I'm pissed off because I really love side 2, and I know side 1 has sort of the 3 big hits, that they had off of that, but I really, really love side 2 of that album. And I was playing it this afternoon, and I noticed one of the songs skips. I don't mind if a song skips if it keeps going. It pisses me off when it skips, and it just, as C said, with the tape where it just keeps playing, it gets stuck in that same groove.
Yeah.
That fucking annoys me because then I got to get up and move the needle, and I hate that. I'm going to try cleaning that album, but as it stands right now, it does seem as though there's a scratch on there that is absolutely devastating.
That's too bad. That's a sad
I went-
story.
It is. It is.
I went on the Pearl Jam track and I got
Did you have 10?
10, yeah. And they have a remastered version. They have the original and the remastered, which is phenomenal. But I
I'll
want to
probably
give
get the remastered.
I want to give a shout out to Versus. Because I
Is that a
forgot
llama or is that a camel? Can we clarify
I
that?
think it's a llama, is it?
it's a
Is it a
llama.
llama? Is it an alpaca?
Could be.
It's something like that.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, I forgot how amazing the album is. It really underrated. And I
You got
listened
a
to it
track
ton.
listing there?
So the
Can I
one
get a
go,
track listing?
go, animal, trapdoor.
Go Animal, Daughter, Glorified G,
I love Glorified G.
Dissident, WMA, Blood, Rearview Mirror, which is one of the best
Yes.
songs I've ever done.
Yep.
Rats, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town, Leash, and Indifference.
I think Rats would prevent me from buying that album.
Rats. Yeah, that was.
I think I don't know how long that song is, but Rats is fuck. Yeah, that was
Well,
unfortunate.
Well, 10 was so amazing. And then I remember, do you remember Tramps on 17th?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when the CDs used to come out, they would actually open up, and when they were allowed to sell them, they'd open up at midnight to sell them. And that's like, so I was so excited about the new Pearl Jam. I don't know if you were with me, Huff, or not, but
I was there on a couple of occasions when we went.
yeah, and he'd sit there and do whatever you do.
Yeah.
Have a dart, have a doobie, or maybe something like that. Who knows? And then you buy the album at midnight and listen to it. It's cool. You and I did that for Division Bell for Pink Floyd too.
I remember doing that for Division Bell, and I really loved that album at the time. And I listen to it now, and I struggle with it. I still love Momentary Lapse. I think Momentary Lapse came out in '88, and maybe it's because I saw the band live, and maybe we'll do an episode one day of like epic concerts that you've seen, and that one would be up there for me. But Division Bell has never been one. The other thing about Tramps, which was cool, was you could listen to stuff before you bought it. Remember they had those listening stations?
That was
So you're like,
Right.
oh, I'm thinking about buying this CD, and then you'd go and you'd sit down and you'd sit there and listen to it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, okay, I'll buy that.
That's a great idea.
Like,
Right?
yeah, that was like unheard of at the time. That was revolutionary.
Absolutely.
We played pinball there for like 4 straight hours, maybe longer.
Really? I didn't even know they
yeah.
had pinball there.
Oh, what game was it? I can't remember. Yeah, they had great pinball there.
Fuck, I love pinball. That's another thing that is shitty that it's kind of gone away. Pinball's good. So when's our next?
Not pin. Have you heard this thing? Sorry, I just
Yeah.
want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
'Cause I read an article on it that the young kids are calling vinyls.
I haven't heard that.
No.
Oh,
How do you use that in a sentence? Did you pick that
They-
up on vinyls?
no, they have lots of vinyls. But they got music posters and vinyls.
Oh, we
And
need to
so
put
I
an
was
end to
read-
that right now.
It
How do we
was
feel
funny-
about that?
It was funny because I was
Interesting.
reading the article
Interesting.
and the guy's like, I snapped on my kid. He came home and said vinyls, and I said, that's unacceptable. That's not. What are you talking about? That's bullshit.
No, the plural of vinyl is vinyl. I have 1 vinyl record. I have 2 vinyl. I have 3 vinyl.
I have vinyls.
I'm going to buy vinyl. My vinyl is broken in 2.
Anyway,
It's interesting.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
I'll
know.
have to keep an eye out for that because my daughter's picked up a couple of albums that she's really into, and she's totally into it. So I
Awesome.
think we're going to get her a little a record player / turntable, whatever it is, and gauge her interest in it. But like I said, I think I said it in one of the recent episodes where she opened up a Billie Eilish album, and it was yellow, I think. Yellow or red. It was yellow. I think it was yellow. Anyway. And she was just like, whoa, like just blew her mind, eh? So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My daughter wants One Direction.
Hey, you know what?
It's the gateway.
If that's
I'm fine with that. If she likes it, that's what she gets.
Gateway album.
First, we'll get him with One Direction, then she'll be buying Sabbath Volume 4 in no time.
Yeah, right?
She actually bought a Black
Sabbath
Sabbath T-shirt. I went to the record store with her, and she's like, "Dad, can I get that shirt?" I'm like, "Do you even know who they are?" She's like, "No, but it's cool." I'm like,
awesome.
"Fucking right, it's cool."
Yeah. Yeah. That still bugs me a little bit. A lot of people walking around with band shirts on and they couldn't name one song from the band. But anyway, that's I let that slide because my girl wears a Pink Floyd shirt and she doesn't really care. She likes a couple of songs if she was pushed to listen to it, she would, but she's
it from
not sitting
Walmart.
down here listening to metal with me. Which reminds me again, if anyone needs a copy, I'm going to trade that one in too. So, I think that's it. That's the vinyl episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please tell your friends, your family, neighbors, and coworkers about the Picks and Sticks podcast. As always, we appreciate your support. One thing I didn't mention off the top is the email address. You can get in touch with the show if you have a show idea or just want to chat or send us, tell us how great Kevin Mojica is or something like that. The email address is picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Picks and Sticks Podcast. We're on Twitter, Picks and Sticks 2. Next episode, still no freaking idea. I do know the Tribe Called Quest is coming up at some point, but in any event.
While we're waiting for B-Rad. We need his list.
B-Rad.
Fucking
Because we have a guest list for...
Yeah, we do. You know what? That's true. Make sure you check back when we do Tribe. There's going to be... Hopefully the algorithm can handle it, because we're going to not have 4 lists of 20. We're going to have 5. We've got a guest appearance from B-Rad. He's fully invested. He's put hours and hours and days of listening into this. He's crafted a list. I can't wait to see it. So make sure you don't miss that episode. So do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button in whatever app you use to listen to Picks and Sticks. It doesn't matter. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Amazon, Pandora. You'll find that subscribe button, so click it right now. And that's it for the Vinyl Addiction episode. Thanks for listening, and until next time, see ya!